Can I ask you, Professor Mukherjee, the reproduction rate, the rate at which this is getting transmitted this time is well above 1.0, which is when we know that the virus is under control. Some states like Bihar now reporting 3.5 people getting infected for every one person who gets corona positive. Is that Does that suggest to you that this virus, these strains, are far more infectious than in the first wave?
Yes, so that's an excellent question. And again, if the lack of data on genomic surveillance, it's hard to accurately model what is the prevalence of different mutants. But one thing I want to say is that the virus does not listen to state border patrols. So to assume that the mutant is only restricted to Maharashtra or a particular state will not be correct. And the more it spreads, the more it changes. So if we reverse engineer these R numbers, these virus incidence curves, this huge surge, even if we incorporate waning immunity, a percentage of population getting reinfected, or we actually make human COVID appropriate behavior to zero, it is very hard to reverse engineer this spike without the plausible explanation of a more transmissible virus variant.
Right. So you're saying it's more likely to be more transmissible, but do you believe that, let's say, a month from now, things could get better? Do you believe, Professor Mukherjee, that April is the worst month, but as more and more people get infected, many of them asymptomatic, some element of immunity will set in by the middle of May? Or you can't clearly say, give us a timeline?
So it's very hard to give a timeline, and I think this will be audacious of me to say that the stochastic crystal ball and models know all the answers. But what we have seen in other countries in the second wave, in terms of South Africa, UK, and US, there has been a sharp rise, but also a sharp fall. And the models are showing that Maharashtra right now, the best information we have, is coming down at the end of April, early May. And so I am hoping that something miraculous like that happens. It is very hard to say that it's more like a spike rather than a steady astronomical growth. That's all I can share with you at this point.
Okay, Dr. Ravi, what's the solution? You're saying that vaccinations are not 100% guarantee that you won't get reinfected. Therefore, according to you, what's the best solution? COVID appropriate behavior with double masking. Is that the only solution now?
Mutant or no mutant, vaccine or no vaccine, the only method that ensures protection is masking, maintaining social distancing, sanitizing, washing hands, most importantly, avoiding crowding and going to closed spaces. So I believe in the last few days I've been telling lockdown is an extreme step. I don't think lockdown is the solution, but governments may have to impose it. I don't know. I am not an expert on that. But I believe lock-ins are very important. All people who are aware should avoid unnecessary activities that are not going to influence their daily living. I think I would like to lock in myself. If I have to go to work, I go to work and come back and stay locked in. Lock-in is a voluntary activity that people can take up. Remember, the only way the curve will come down is when it reaches peak, people realize the importance, they change their behavior. Behavior change is the most effective vaccine. The vaccines that we are promoting now are very good to prevent a third wave. Many countries are seeing third wave. If we continue our pace of vaccination and accelerate it, we will stop the third wave or minimize the third wave.